Hope that answers the question.
I have an announcement to make. I would just like to inform you regarding this session. We have outside available for sale videotapes of Dr. Zakir Naik, which are available for sale at a discounted price of rupees 150 each. The topics covered are this cassette of the Bombay Union of Journalists debate on is religious fundamentalism a stumbling block in the freedom of expression, when he spoke along with Dr. Vyas and Father Pereira, a Jesuit expert. Then we have religion in the right perspective, given at a place in Nariman Point. We have Islam, the universal religion, at Mani Bhavan, organized by the Bombay Sarvodaya Mandal, and Al-Quran, should it be read with meaning, lecture given at the SNDT University Hall, Juhu. These are available for sale outside. We also have the Holy Quran, which is available on a hadiyah, a nominal hadiyah of rupees 150 each. This is the English Quran with the text and English translation by Abdullah Yusuf Ali along with its commentary. We know that we have quite a lot of questions coming up. There's a lot of interest, enthusiasms, but at the same time, I have to be pragmatic. We have our time limitations. We have with us next 10 to 15 minutes in which we have to complete this session. I would request we'll allow one question from this end, the next on the top, third year, and I think because it's a women rights session, we'll end with the lady on the top. In between, it will be interspersed with brief questions from the chits that I've received. Those who are interested in having further questions, I would like to inform them on this subject or on any subject of Islam and comparative religion. You are most welcome to attend our lectures, followed by question and answers, maybe in a smaller setting, on Fridays at 2:45 p.m. for ladies, every Friday that is, and every Saturday at 2:45 p.m. open for all, and on Sundays at 10:45 a.m. open for all, Muslims, non-Muslims, all are welcome, and in a very cordial and open atmosphere you are allowed to criticize, cross-examine, and openly discuss Islam and its values without offending the speaker or yourself. If you feel you can better educate that lecturer or the talkers there, we would be happy to be corrected, and we hope in the same spirit you would be able to discuss with a very open mind the problems we face in society and the world in general. And the next question, please.
Dr. Naik, my question is, for last 1400 years, 1400 years, only male ulamas have interpreted Quran and Hadith. Of course, I was enlightened by your speech in the beginning that Aisha ji was a religious scholar and she used to interpret. My question is, how many women, female ulamas or religious scholars are today to interpret Quran and Hadith? Today, how many? What is the percentage? And another thing, I'm finishing. This question arises from the Taslima of Bengal, that when she narrated something, Maulvi started shouting. There was not a lady ulema to, reply to these Maulvis or take the side of Taslima or anything. We have not read what Taslima said because we can't get all the literature here in India, either from Pakistan or from Bengal or anywhere. So we would like to read.
I'd like you to ask directly. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'd like you to ask directly the question regarding Taslima Nasreen. What you would like to know? Ask the question directly.
Don't interview. Please, I'll make it short. I'm not. How many lady ulemas are there today to interpret Quran and Hadith, and what is their percentage in comparison to male? Thank you very much.
Uncle has asked a question that he agrees that at the time of the Prophet, there were many ladies who not only interpreted the hadiths, they memorized. And Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she herself has narrated on her authority itself only 2,210 hadiths are based only on her authority. The basic question is, how many ulamas, women do you have today? He wants to know the percentage. There are several lady ulamas and there are many Muslim organizations in Bombay, as well as in Darul Ulum, in Nadwa, etc. in several places, as I saw Manatis in Bombay, several Muslim organizations which produce lady ulama. Percentage I don't know, but there are hundreds. Why didn't any, regarding my second part of the question, why didn't any lady support the cause for Taslima Nasreen? The first question arises, should she be supported? Regarding the answer for the question of Taslima Nasreen, this cassette is available outside in the foyer. This cassette, we had a debate in the Bombay Union of Journalism. Bombay Union of Journalists had a debate between myself and Dr. Vyas and Father Pereira as well as Ashok Shahani, who translated into Marathi Lajja. And many people objected, many people guided me that don't go to that debate, it will be a problem. They will misquote you, and believe me, I had two minds. But finally my father guided me, take the name of Allah and go, and I went. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, it was only because of Allah's support that the debate was successful. It was so successful that not a single paper reported it. You know that? Not a single paper. There was the Times of India, there was the Indian Express, there was Mahanagar, Nikhil Wagle himself was there. There was UTI.
He's here today, Nikhil.
There was PTI also there. No one reported. Why? Because I did not say what they wanted. If I would have said what they wanted, it would have been headlines. Islamic scholar Dr. Zakir Naik and so and so. Because I didn't say what they wanted, no report. For the full answer, the cassette is available outside.
The last three questions. Is it only the husband, this is from Jennifer, it says, is it only the husband who can say triple talaq and get one? What has a woman to do if she wants to get divorce or talaq?
The sister asked a question that a husband can divorce a woman. She has not asked about triple talaq, that's another answer. But the main question is, a husband can divorce. Can a woman also divorce? Or can she give talaq? A woman can't give talaq, because talaq is an Arabic word used for divorce when a man gives to a woman, husband gives to a wife. But a woman can divorce. There are 5 types of divorce in Islam. The first type is by unilateral agreement between the husband and wife. Both may say, okay, we aren't compatible, let's part. The second type is by the unilateral will of the husband, that's called a salah, in which he has to forego his meher. If he hasn't paid it, he has to pay it to her, and including the gifts he has given to her. Third type is by the unilateral will of the wife. I repeat, by the unilateral will of the wife, if she mentions it in her marriage contract. If she mentions it in a nikah nama, in a marriage contract, that she has the right to give unilateral divorce, she can give it. It's called as isma. I've never heard of anyone speaking about isma. It's called as isma. Even a woman can give divorce, isma. Third category is if the husband ill-treats her or does not give her equal rights, she has the right to go to a qazi and nullify the marriage. It's called as nikah-e-fask. In this, according to the qazi, he may ask the husband to give the full meher or part of the meher depending upon the qazi. And the last is kulah, that even though the husband may be a very good husband, the wife has got no complaints against the husband, but for personal reason she does not like the husband, she can request the husband to divorce her, and that's called as kulah. But very few people talk about women giving divorce to the men. Some of the ulamas have categorized these 5 types of divorce into 2 or 3 different categories. But broadly, there are 5 types of divorce in Islam. Hope that answers the question.
we would now ask two very short questions.